let's get ready to rumble. What's up, y'all? It's your favorite foodie bae, Ari Luv. We are sitting down with Miss Tara Montgomery. She is the owner of West Coast Cajun Seasoning. We're gonna just jump into questions to ask Miss Tara, who is a boss babe and just crushing it here in the food business. So, Miss Tara, before I begin my questions, let the people know, your name, what you do, and we'll get it going from there.
I'm Tara Montgomery. I go by Chef Rue. I started my career in cooking about 15 years ago, 2007 or 2008, and I'm just relaunching up here in the Central Valley, and I'm from San Francisco, California.
That's awesome. And what would you say initially sparked your interest in cooking, and how did you decide to pursue it as a career?
What really sparked my interest was just my will to make everything that my parents and folks were making better. not because they couldn't cook, because Lord, everyone knows how to cook. In my family we all get down, but I had some arrogant feeling that I could do better. So every time I would have like a book fair or we would have library time at school, I would get a cookbook. So yeah, that's what sparked it. I kind of always knew it.
I love it. I love that. That is awesome. And where did you study culinary arts, and how did that experience shape your career as a chef?
I did not study culinary arts at any school. I'm a trained chef, so actually just studying up under all of my head chefs, the executive chefs at various companies that I've worked for. And I always wonder why every executive chef said, don't go to culinary school. I would definitely recommend people to do so, because not everyone has 15 years of patience to study, get the experience required for a chef.
Wow. Okay. So you're saying that it can take as long as 15 years to pretty much master, the art of cooking?
It can, it's just a matter of you being humble and be willing to train and not just bring what you think you bring to the table. But it took, honestly, I didn't really start getting really good at what I did until about 11 years in it, because I had to, get that young chef, attitude out of me, but it takes a long time to really, really train and start learning it under someone if you don't go to school. But the only thing about going straight to culinary school is when you come out, it doesn't matter if you have a certificate or a master's degree or AA in it, you still come in as like just a cook, and you will come in up under someone. So you're still going to have to train your way into being a chef either way.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. And so you mentioned that you were trained under executive chefs. Do you also mentor or train aspiring chefs? And if so, can you tell us more about that experience and any programs that you might offer?
I don't have any programs that I offer, but I have trained chefs, like ones that come into the industry. My first training experience, I would say at the Marriott, I was chef de partie there. So people would come in, and we all basically had to train each other for whatever area or section or station that you will be working in. So yeah, we came in as like a prep cook. 9 times out of 10, if I had my day off that day, I would be training you how to run my station. Like if I requested time off. So yeah, I would teach you how to make like sauces or salad dressings, or just how to run a station in general, how to do it. So yeah, I've done that lots of times, but in the future for programs, I hope to, incorporate something like that in my business. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Me, myself as a foodie, and the listeners out there who also have a love for food, doing things that are like experiential. So like hosting an event somewhere and possibly, just teaching us a recipe. I think that could be really fun.
I have some YouTube videos, and also on my Instagram. at the West Coast route. I do have some teaching videos, and just under my my YouTube, I forgot about that because I don't do them as much as anymore. I have some videos where I do teach you how to do some recipes, and also a big one that's on my YouTube is the art of fried chicken. It's a 25 minute series that I've done, and I did a barbecue series too. So I guess that's the closest thing that I do have for like cooking and training. And also on my website, I have a 5 minute tip that I offer too. On my website, where I'll just teach you like how to make yeast rise, or how to peel your rosemary, because sometimes people put the whole entire stem in there.
That's me.
Just how to pick your herbs and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess that's kind of like a training program, but not one that's super official.
Okay, that's okay. Well, it's what it sounds like is I need to take my butt to your YouTube, and I need to learn how to pick the freaking rosemary, because obviously I've been doing it wrong for like the last 15 years. So that's good to know.
Okay.
And how do you stay up to date with the current culinary trends and techniques? Like, do you attend conferences, or do you read industry publications or collaborate with other chefs?
Definitely reading industry publications. I have a subscription to Bon Appetit and other magazines. The funniest one, probably going to laugh at, is I like TikTok.
Same.
And what I do like about TikTok is like a lot of these youngsters, the 19 and the 20-something-year-olds, they're so inspiring, because like the new generation, they're not afraid to just put their work out there. And it could be a recipe that is so traditional, say like a beef Wellington.
Yes.
And just take it and do something completely unorthodox, make a video and put it out there. So that is very inspiring, and it lets you know that you can just do all kinds of different things fusion-wise. So yeah, and then also with chefs, I don't think a lot of people know that we'll piggyback off of each other. So like Chef Barbie out of Maryland or DMV area, that's my inspiration. I go and steal things from her all the time. Yeah, I'll look on Instagram, and definitely read like publications and YouTube and see other things that people are doing. And as far as like collaboration, I always collaborate with Chef Renee Hewitt, and he is out of New Jersey, and he hosts the show out of Hudson Community Culinary School College.
Awesome. Okay, that sounds great. And I love what you mentioned about TikTok, because I also have a foodie page where here and there I'll make, recipe, but at some point I did find myself being a little like self-conscious about it, because I wasn't like, everything wasn't from scratch. But then you just kind of have to think about it and just have fun. You know what I mean? So if you want to record a video of you recreating a microwavable dinner, then go ahead and do it.
Yeah, definitely. Just make it taste good. It doesn't have to be all from scratch. And then who knows? Like if you're just starting off, later on you might get that good where you're brave enough to start from scratch.
Exactly.
I didn't start from scratch, but I had a lot of cookbooks and stuff like that. And, some things are from scratch, some things weren't. But I like how brave this generation is.
Yes, absolutely. And so you heard that, foodies out there. So it doesn't matter how you cook it or what you make, just make it taste good, okay? So you might want to think about you know what? Cancel out the might think about. You want to go ahead and throw that West Coast Cajun seasoning on it, okay? That's how you're going to make it taste good, whatever you're making, especially that fried chicken, okay? I'm just saying. So let's move on to how you have particularly had a memorable experience or accomplishment from your career as a chef. Like, what can you never forget that was memorable for you as a chef that happened to you at any point in time?
I want to say in 2021, right, when we were in like that pandemic was like right in its height. I woke up one morning and I had, I looked on Instagram and I had like a tag from this one woman, and she has a blog called Live, Love, and Wine. And it's a blog, and she's on Instagram, and she's from out of Florida. And this blog, it was 40 Black chefs that you should be following. And I made number 3 on that list. And I was like, whoa, like, how did I get on this list? And how do you know me? So, right. So I don't know anyone in Florida. I think I've been there one time when I was a kid. I mean, we had some family down there, but I haven't been there in my adult life. But I don't know how you know me, but I thought that was really cool. So I guess, that was like an accomplishment. I did send her some bread. At the time I was baking a lot of like garlic bread from scratch and stuff like that. But I thought that was pretty cool.
That is really cool, and I love garlic bread, and I love that you have a garlic herb, olive oil, and I really...
I'll send you that bread. I'll send it to you.
Oh my gosh, please send me some garlic bread. You know what? Me and my daughter, we're going to have to fight over it, though, because she loves it just as much as me, so I'll let you know how that turns out. All right, so what challenges have you faced, or any obstacles in your career have you faced as a chef? And if there are any, how did you overcome those obstacles?
I'd say the biggest challenge that I faced career-wise are 2 things. One, when I first came in and I was young, hot-headed, I came into this industry. I had my own business before I even worked for someone else. That's how I had a business called Tara Kitchen. And then I think the humbleness then just made me realize I need to go and work for other people so I can really, really understand how to come back and reopen. But when I started working for other people, I admit that a flaw was just being hot-headed and arrogant. But, I want to say about 5 years in deep, I really, really started to learn, because I put all those things aside, which is to humble yourself and really learn from these people and take what you can get from it. So that was a challenge, and that was myself. And the second challenge was when I finally did write my cookbook. The first time that it was supposed to be launched on a certain date, like the actual copy of it didn't come out on the date that it was supposed to. And so for the first year, you could only get my cookbook on on ebook. So a year later, physical copies actually came out. So that was a challenge, and it made me pretty bummed, and I had to coach myself and staying positive through it, because I invested a lot of money and time in that. So, but yeah, those are the 2 challenges. Was just, one, myself, getting over yourself, and then 2, just the career thing, got back in it.
That's really good advice. So you hear that, foodies. If you have an aspiring foodie venture that you want to go off into, just first of all, stay humble, get over yourself. Don't be no Nick Cannon from Drumline, just walking up in here, walking up in the kitchen, thinking like, you about to own 50 restaurants in 2 days. Just be patient. Like Tara says, just get over yourself and, watch and learn. That way you can take notes, and then you jump in and do your own thing. So that's good advice. Mm-hmm. All right, Tara. And then I do want to know, because I'm sure it can be very, your life can be very busy as a chef. And I'm not sure if you mentioned if you had children or anything, but how do you balance your work as a private chef with other commitments and responsibilities in your life?
Yes, I am married, 15 years, and I have 2 kids. But just being strict on my days, on what days that I do things. Tuesdays, those are the days that I normally do my sausage. I make sausages from scratch on Tuesday nights. And anything else, I just have to be super strict. I know it's so not fun, but just set dates and time that I do every single thing. Like it's a work schedule.
Absolutely. Y'all heard that out there. So foodies, Get organized. Organize your life. If you have to use Google Calendar or Notion or something, or just, Google in general how to organize your life, you just make sure that you have that organization so you have that work-life balance. And also, y'all heard Miss Tara is married, okay? So don't be sliding up in her DMs, not talking about buying no seasonings or getting no cookbooks, okay? If you ain't talking about that, she don't want to hear it, okay? All right. And finally, so what do you hope to achieve in your career as a chef in the years to come?
Really just with my foodstuffs line, that one, it gets hopefully into grocery stores and definitely into restaurants. And to restaurants, that's been my whole thing all last week and this week, which was I was shopping it around. The things that I make will become more mainstream. The newest thing is the compound butters, but it just gets out there. I would like for my business to grow to people to, hire more private chefs, but definitely the ones who can't reach me to go online and get my seasoning and get my oil and request for sausage making, the food stuff business part of it. I want that part to just really be big and reachable for people to enjoy my food.
That's awesome. And so we know that you have a Cajun seasoning called West Coast Cajun seasoning. Do you have any other additional types of seasoning blends? And what would you say pairs well with the dishes that you might come up with while using these seasonings?
Okay, so I only have the West Coast Cajun right now. I have some plans in the future to do other things, but what pairs well? I believe what really goes well with it, of course, it goes well with like gumbos and Cajun pasta. It goes really well on seafood and chicken. And if you take the seasoning and you add like a cup of brown sugar, and mix it with mustard, it makes a really, really, really good rib rub. If you mix it like that, just take the seasoning and some Dijon mustard and brown sugar, rub it on ribs. It goes great on seafood and chicken. Yeah, I think that's it.
That sounds amazing. I'm literally over here just like super hungry, and y'all, I'm gonna go online and get that seasoning because I need that in my life. And then last question for you, Tara. I just have to know, the people have to know. So like there's this whole thing about like, using measurements when you're cooking, like as far as when it comes to seasoning, or if you let the ancestors guide you. What is your take on that? Do you believe in measurements, or do you let the ancestors guide you?
Sometimes I guess I let the ancestors guide me. In the cookbook, I have more measurements, but certain things, I don't always measure. I don't, but certain things like with like liquid smoke and vinegars and stuff like that, I measure. So it depends on what it is, but for the most part, when I'm cooking at home or even for like my clients, I do let the ancestors try to guide me.
I heard that. That's amazing.
Like it has measurements.
All right, y'all. So you guys heard it. Foodies, you heard this. Tara, she does her measurements, okay? You're going to see measurements in the cookbook. However, Tara is not afraid to let the ancestors guide her, okay? So when you're frying her famous fried chicken, you might want to just let the ancestors guide you, okay? All right. So, and to wrap this up, Tara, please tell us if you have any like upcoming events coming out, other projects, collaborations that you're, excited about and, you want the people to know about, and also just tell us again, where we can purchase your products, because we know that you have your seasoning, West Coast Cajun seasonings, and we also know that you have your delicious garlic herb olive oil, and along with your cookbook. So let the people, please tell the foodies where they can purchase your items, and also just where to follow you on social media, what your handles are.
You can get my items on my my website only. It's the westcoastrue.net, and that's Rue, ROUX. And you can follow me on Instagram at the West Coast Rue, also on TikTok, the West Coast Rue, and Facebook. And future products. What I'm working on right now is custom made compound butters. No collaborations, but I am always collaborating, like just on a regular basis with Chef Renee Hewitt. A lot of his recipes are enlisted all my recipes online and things like that. And he sells jellies and jams.
That sounds really good. And I'm just thinking about your compound butters, as you're saying right now. I'm thinking about all the delicious, things that I can incorporate with that butter, like some eggs, because I love me some good scrambled eggs in the morning. I'm also just thinking about, garlic breads. So yeah, that compound butter, that's gonna be a hit right there.
Yeah, I got steak butter already, a Cajun steak butter.
Oh my goodness. Did you guys hear that? Tara has a Cajun steak butter. Now we know we love us some steak. We know we love to baste that steak in that butter and get it all just tender and butter. We know we want that butter. So, y'all, we need to get that compound butter. We need to head over to her website. We need to purchase all her products. Okay, we just need to give Tara all her coins at this point. Okay, that's what we need to do. Custom order that compound butter, okay, because she don't want no influx of all these orders coming in. She has to keep it organized, okay? So just don't bum rush her with all the compound butter orders, okay? But you will, what we is gonna do is head to her website and get all of these delicious products, okay? So you heard it first. That was Tara Montgomery. She is a boss babe, CEO, just kicking butt right now with her West Coast Cajun seasoning. You heard it first. iHeartRadio, Outside the Box podcast, and this is our Foodie Talk segment with your favorite foodie bae, Ari Luv. All right, until next time, I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'm gonna go get something to eat right now because I'm hungry. Okay, peace out, y'all.